Hi friends, it's me Mandy. I am back from vacation and easing my way back into real life. But I was sitting this morning in meditation and kind of having conversations with Spirit about what's going on in the world, what the general consensus is with everybody. It was a pretty intense full moon, and also the Lionsgate portal was like, if you weren't ripped open, then it's a miracle. So if you find yourself still feeling a little like battered by the past couple of weeks, don't be hard on yourself. You kind of need to allow the dust to settle. But when I was chatting a bit with Spirit or asking for guidance or a little bit of ease, because there's a lot of chaos going on right now, I pulled this card and it inspired me to jump on here and share with you guys what it is that, what the message was that was shared with me, because I do feel like most of the people who I've been doing readings for, even like personal family members and friends, are reaching out and just saying, like, I need to find a way not to worry so much. I need to find a way to feel settled again. I'm angry all the time. I'm sad all the time. I'm anxious all the time. And this really hasn't let up almost since the beginning of 2020 for most people. And then throw in the pandemic and our whole world shifting into a new normal, and the sides that are being chosen by people of like mask, no mask, Trump, no Trump, the Black Lives Matter movement, what you should be doing or not be doing. It's all become very aggressive almost in the way that people choose sides. And the biggest message I got from Spirit and what I want to share with you guys was inspired by this card. And it says, I embrace the all. So the message that came through for me was that the biggest challenge that we're learning right now as humans is how to not live in this duality. Duality means that there's a black and a white instead of a whole. Duality means that there's only sadness and only fear and only guilt and only shame, instead of knowing that the sadness and the happiness always exist at the same time. And it really depends on where we put our consciousness. And the message that came through for me today, for all of us, is that it's time to learn how to shift into neutral. And becoming neutral doesn't mean that you are accepting of things that you don't like to see. It doesn't mean that you're placating people by succumbing to whatever they want. It doesn't mean that that you're being passive. It means that you're moving yourself into a space of allowing the all. Because all sides matter, guys. All of us, every single being on this planet, whether they are deemed evil or good, is part of divine source. And all of us together are trying to become higher versions of ourselves, which means we're going through these lessons that are stripping away some of the spaces that we try to control things in our lives, or spaces that we have expectations of the way things should be, or what we feel we deserve, or what we feel is right. And the harder we hang on to those aspects of ourselves, our beliefs, no matter how good, bad you think they are, the more difficult it is for shift and change to come easily into your life. Which, if you've been called to this page, guys, you're somebody who is looking for more, who is looking to expand your awareness. You are looking to expand your heart and to feel more grounded in who you are. So part of this journey means letting go of control, letting go of believing that you have to push against things or push people into things or be pulled into things. So neutrality means that you're not pushing an opinion and you're not pulling on somebody else's opinion. You're just allowing things to be what they are. So if I can give you any kind of imagery, if you're visual like me, I drive a standard vehicle. So the message is kind of coming to me as I was driving through the mountains and having to shift continuously as I was going uphill, downhill, uphill, downhill, downhill. And I would either be in a high gear trying to go fast or in a low gear trying to get up the hill. But it was when I had it in neutral and the car could just kind of go that I was really able to relax. So if you think of yourself that way too, when you're in a higher gear and you're pushing and running and trying to speed up and trying to understand and trying to push your belief, versus when you're in neutral and just allowing things to happen, observing what is happening, and allowing people to have differences of opinion and not judging them, just knowing that it's all part of what's going on and every point is valid. Okay, there's no right and wrong. This is what the dissolution of duality is. This is what's going to move us into unity consciousness. So if you can just imagine, if you feel yourself falling into anxiety, fear, worry, anger, if you feel like somebody is trying to push their opinion on you and you feel yourself starting to get defensive or judgmental and you want to justify why your way is right, or you want to justify why you did certain actions in the past or why you're going to do certain actions in the future, imagine just pulling yourself out of gear and shifting back into neutral. I have started even calling all of me back. So when I feel my temperature rising, when I feel myself really getting ready for combat, because I would say I'm more of a pusher than a puller, then I ask to come back to neutral. I want to be in neutral. I want to agree to disagree. I do not want to combat, okay? My teenager is testing me on this big time. So if you have teenagers, you know what I'm talking about. But it's really about shifting into neutral and letting go of believing that you have control over anything other than that, guys. Because nobody knows what's coming, and there's more coming. Fall is going to be crazy, okay? With the American election, and the school year starting again, and the fears that are already starting to come up, and the way that like the world has not come onto a single track, you got to let all of that go, because what you have control over is the neutrality in your own soul. If you've been asking for ease, if you've been asking for joy, if you've been asking for clarity, if you've been asking for happiness, if you've been asking for a higher connection, if you've been asking for your twin flame even, which is just you, by the way, you are your own twin flame. You are always going to be the first person in line to love you. But all of that, that's another topic. But if you've been asking for any of those things, it's becoming neutral that allows you to open the space for all of that to come in so that you can feel it as truth. All right. So please, the biggest message today, it is time. There's no time anymore to play the victim or be the pusher. There is no space anymore to feel like you don't have control over things, because we do. And it starts with our ability to shift into neutral so that spirit can connect to us, so that we can feel it, so that we recognize the divinity within ourselves, and so that we can shine it out and really start up-leveling things, because we're all in this together. And until the last person, until the last person on the planet starts awakening to this truth, there's going to be chaos and there's going to be duality. And we chose it. We chose to come here to be part of this shift into neutrality, which is going to allow a unity consciousness, which is going to allow a lot of these things that we so desire to really be manifested into our lives. I just want to check my notes here, because I did take some notes. Yes, I think the biggest thing is that I can already feel some people pushing back, which is okay. If this doesn't resonate with you, you do not have to take any of this. Okay, it's totally your journey. I really am just being a messenger here, and this is a challenge for me too, to stay neutral and not want to be like jumping into arguments. But because there's more coming, and because there's so much potential here, this is the potential of change that all of us have been looking for. It's going to help you so much if you can shift into neutrality, allow your heart to open a little bit more, and trust that you are held. Okay, so oh, Serbi, me too. I've been asking, like, I'm going to say that if you're affected, like, I'm a sensitive, okay? So I'm very sensitive to images. I'm very sensitive to world news, and I'm very sensitive to marketing. So I learned fairly young not to watch the news, and then I most certainly did not subscribe to cable. And I am very careful not to get too far into subjects, topics, videos, etc., because it impacts me deeply and it takes me a long time to unravel it, which is why when I unplug, it needs to be complete, which also means social media. So if you're like me and you're feeling like your anxiety is getting high, your emotions are getting high, you can't get it under control, you need to unplug completely and start practicing this neutrality without external influence. Because those feelings, the fear, the anxiety, the anger, the indignation, the sense of justice, and all of that is actually externally motivated. It means we're outside of ourselves, being impacted by. And what we want is all of us in alignment and impacting out from a space of neutrality, which then allows for self-compassion and self-love, which then allows for trust, which allows for clarity, which allows for connection, which means that you're gonna start receiving your own messages like this too. But it does take space and it takes a lot of trust. And it's all gonna start with you noticing when you are not in neutral. So, okay, so that's what I had to say today. I felt really pushed to come on and share these thoughts because I know a lot of people it's starting to wind up again as we get closer to the beginning of the school year. Whether you have children or not, there's no way that you haven't been exposed to the battle that's going on right now. If you've been watching world events, you're probably aware that there's a whole rainbow of levels of things happening. But I want you to know that your only job in it ever is to be the best version of yourself. And if one day that means that you're crying in bed, that's okay. All right. So no matter where you find yourself, just choose to be doing your best. Practice neutrality if you can, and I most certainly would recommend trying to slip in some daily meditation or any kind of mindset practices that you use to soften your logical mind and create some space there too, so that you can relax, so that your body can relax, and so that your path can unfold in a way that you notice the blessings and you notice what you're manifesting into your world, which takes a lot of internal focus. And you're safe to do that. I want you to know that too. I think there's a lot of fear around believing that if you choose yourself that you're egotistical or not, you're not helping. But really, if you want to help at a higher level, you need to become very centered in who you are and know that you lead by pushing your light out into the world and pushing your calm and your neutrality out into the world. That's actually what stops it from propagating more and more and more. Thanks, Becky. I'm almost feeling back. I've had to ease myself into it so that I don't get sucked right back into the overwhelm of everything. And I know a big message for me personally has been to allow the timing of things and not try and be in control of when things are going to happen by, or how they're going to happen, or what it exactly looks like. I've really surrendered a lot of that and just asked Spirit to help me bring what I'm trying to create. So I'm playing more inside of my vision instead of holding this like finish line that I have to cross by a certain amount of time with XYZ expectations. So I'm easing in, and I'm happy to be back too. For those of you who are looking for readings, I am booking into the middle of September. Excuse me. So I do have a few people on my list that I still need to reach out to who were waiting for me to get back. But I just wanted to touch base and say that I've been thinking about you guys, and I love to share this message, and I appreciate this space so much. I hope that you're having a fantastic Thursday, and all comments appreciated, and we're in this together, guys, and I think you're all doing great. So I'll talk to you soon. Bye.